almost immediately, and the ones in the middle are the ones in the middle.
Here's how long Minecraft takes so long.
Now keep in mind that this list is specific to me, so if you feel like you could survive in a Guardian-infested Hyrule, that's great. Good for you. We're all very impressed. But I could not. Let's start somewhere simple and iconic with Peach's Castle from the Mario series. I feel like I would have no problem surviving here. If Peach and Toads can also live here in peace, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to as well. The layout doesn't stay exactly the same across all of the games within the series, but it's pretty consistently safe from what I can tell. On the exterior, you've got the iconic moat. This thing would be so cool just to hang out by, have a couple beers with the boys, maybe with those rabbits or something like that. I could sit here all day just listening to the water. I love this moat. The interior, honestly, is pretty bare. I think it solely consists of rooms with, like, one painting in them, which, look, that's cool. I like how safe it is, but, I mean, let's spruce it up a little bit. Well, there's an aquarium. I do like the aquarium. I think that would be nice to sit there and watch the fish, but, yeah, there's not much going on interior-wise. I mean, yeah, sure, I could jump through the paintings and go see some new crazy world, but, like, if I'm trying to stay safe, why would I do that? If I can just sit here and watch fish, why would I want to go to a place called Bob-omb Battlefield? I do have one main concern, though, and it's kind of a big one. Where are the bathrooms? Okay, the architecture is beautiful. Like I said, I love the
True.
Where does everybody go pee? Be honest. You think they go pee in the moat? Anyway, this one's going in S tier because I don't really foresee any reason why I wouldn't be able
That
to
would
survive
explain
here.
why there's a
I
draining
agree with
mechanic
Brother
for
Shares
it.
a lot of similarities with our last entry. There are tons of nice fields, there's a castle, there's a moat, but things start to get a little bit different whenever you look at the safety factors. In Breath of the Wild, the world is being terrorized by Calamity Ganon, though it's also being terrorized by various divine beasts, so there's not really anywhere that you can go that is completely safe. Sprinkled throughout the world are smaller enemies like Bakam. Or those stupid octo rocks that just pop out of the water and shoot you, then go back in the water. What am I supposed to do about that? I don't own a bow and arrow. I don't know how to shoot a bow and arrow. I literally have no defense against these things. But you want to know the worst part? Even if I did somehow
just throw a rock at them,
they would just come back to life 7 days later because of the blood moon. You're telling me that once a week, the bodies of all of the dead monsters just come right back to life? What happens if I ate one? And what? Is it going to come alive in my stomach? What am I supposed to do in that situation other than just die? And don't even get me started on the Guardians, man. I can barely even survive these things when I'm playing as Link. So what makes you think I would be able to survive it as Mike, the guy who makes YouTube videos? I'm in front of a green screen right now. Do I look like I can do anything? Unfortunately, I think just everything in Breath of the Wild is out to get you, and realistically, would I even want to survive in a place like that? Breath of the Wild gets a C tier because as soon as I start moving in this world, a red dot is going to appear on me and that Guardian music is going to start playing. While we're doing Zelda, we might as well bring up Hyrule from Tears of the Kingdom because I see Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's universes as two completely different areas. Tears of the Kingdom takes place a couple years after Breath of the Wild, so society has had some time to rebuild and kind of reacclimate itself, make places a little bit safer than usual. We got Lookout Landing. This place has an underground bunker. People are like actively training to learn how to fight. This seems like a pretty secure area. Honestly, if things get too bad, I can just go to the underground emergency shelter and I would be fine. There's food, water down there. It seems fairly secure. Also, my girl Pura is there, so that would definitely up my will to live for at least a little bit longer than normal. I feel like if I died around her, she would probably get the ick. Now that isn't to say that things are completely safe. Of course, Ganon is still around doing whatever he was doing in that game. I don't really remember what his plan was. But also probably need to watch my step because there are giant holes in the ground, and if the fall down there didn't kill me, then I'm pretty sure whatever is in the depths would. But also, like, the real world has sinkholes, and I've never fallen into one of those, so I have a 100% survival rate with sinkholes, so we'll chalk that up to a maybe. I think what I would be most worried about are the random falling rocks that just kind of come out of nowhere. Would I have to just constantly be looking up? I understand they're useful if you've got a magic arm from a goat that you can use recall on, but I'm just a regular dude. There's nothing I can do with this. I'll go ahead and throw Tears of the Kingdom in B tier because I still probably would die, but I think it would take a little bit longer than Breath of the Wild would. Sword and Shield, so that's the one that I feel the most comfortable talking about. Pokemon Sword and Shield takes place in the Galar region, which is heavily based on the United Kingdom. D tier. Animal Crossing seems like it would be a pretty easy S tier, like, oh, all you do is decorate and hang out with animals, and initially I would agree, but let's talk our way through this. Even though basically all Animal Crossing games are the same, I think there are differences that would deviate on their survival rates. With a game like Animal Crossing New Leaf, yeah, it would be pretty easy. You just show up, everybody's kind of minding their own business, the world is there already, you don't have to do anything, you've got a mall, everybody moves in and out as they please. This would really be super easy. Also, I wouldn't even have to be the mayor, because keep in mind, I am not supposed to be the main character in these games, I'm just me, so I literally would just be doing nothing the whole time. As expected, Animal Crossing New Leaf gets an easy S tier. But if we're talking about New Horizons, I'm not quite as sure. Because in New Horizons, you build a city literally from scratch, and honestly, I don't think I have that in me. I love camping just as much as the next guy, but I'm not very good at fishing, and I also have never tried to catch a bug with a net before, and this seems like the only way for me to actually make any money on the island. There's no normal jobs, there's only 2 businesses here, and they both already have employees. Like, I could probably afford the extra 50 square feet on my house if you needed, like, an IT guy or something like that, but you don't. So what, am I just supposed to go dig for clams on the beach? Also, real quick, let's talk about the villagers that I'm going to be living with. Yes, it is true that there are no recorded cases of these villagers doing anything to anybody, but keep in mind, these are still wild animals. And don't give me that excuse, oh, they're wearing clothes, they wouldn't hurt anybody. You know who else wears clothes? My cat Maggie. You know what else she does? Bites.
Oh,
Look, all
God.
I'm saying is, if you put me on an island with a tiger and somebody accidentally digs up the last fruit tree, this guy's got to eat somehow. I feel like in previous Animal Crossing games, they might have had some type of plan in case we ran out of food, but with New Horizons, I think it would turn into Lord of the Flies really quick, and yeah, we're eating Tom Nook. Animal Crossing New Horizons gets an A tier for manual labor and also possibly getting mauled to death by a lion in sunglasses. Splatoon feels like a tough one to rank because there's a lot of lore that I feel like could negate it from going pretty much anywhere on this list. To my understanding, Splatoon lore is basically that humans died out because of climate change, and then squids had to evolve into, like, squid-human hybrids, and now they live on Earth and there's no humans left. Also, if I got any of that wrong, and Splatoon fans are going to the comments to correct me, how about instead you go to the bathroom and put on some deodorant, because I think we know which one is more needed. That whole evolution thing makes it so that it's like almost 100% likely that I would not be able to exist even at all, but let's say, in theory, just for the hypothetical, I would be able to exist there, then how safe would it be? Splatsville is the main setting of Splatoon 3, and at a glance, this place does seem pretty safe. Inklings just kind of hang out, sit on the streets, go shopping, eat ramen. It seems honestly kind of nice. Also, there's Splatfest where you get like free t-shirts and there's live music. I mean, it's basically a huge party. Even if I showed up at a turf war, I think I would still be fine because, like, if you shot me with ink, I wouldn't explode like an Inkling would. I mean, it would be inconvenient, but I don't think anything would happen to me, right? We can even look at some of the stages as places that we could go. There's like an amusement park or a mall. This seems so good. Splatoon is no doubt a very safe place to stay. That is, if it wasn't for one little issue. Big Run. In Splatoon 3, there is an alternate mode called Salmon Run, where basically there are a bunch of little creatures who really want to kill you while you're trying to get their golden eggs. Now this in and of itself would not be that big of an issue. This is a certain job that people go to, so I simply would not have that job. I would be completely fine. However, when Big Run happens, that means that these creatures are now in Splatsville at places like the mall or that amusement park, and they are actively trying to kill you. Imagine you're out trying to buy a brand new pair of shoes, and all of a sudden you're about to get crushed by this guy. For that reason, I think I'm going to put Splatoon in A tier because you can be safe, but you can never be 100% safe while Big Runs happen. Now, ARMS, I think, was supposed to be the Switch's version of Splatoon until 1 month later they just put Splatoon on the Switch. I don't know why they did that. ARMS suffers a little bit when it comes to lore and world building, so it makes it a little bit difficult to truly understand the safety.
Hooray,
the lore
Arms
comes
getting
from
some
Twitter
recognition.
posts, which is simultaneously hilarious and also really sad for people that worked on the game or actually care. I'll explain best I can from what I've gathered, but once again, if I get this wrong, Arms fans, you're an Arms fan. Go do anything else. Okay, apparently the fighters in Arms are not robots like I initially thought they were. These are apparently humans that got, like, mutated, and their arms are just like that now. This happens in their early teens, typically, and then they all join this giant fight called, like, the Arms Grand Prix or something like that. Keep in mind, this is all told through a Twitter post. There's like a 20% chance that anybody born in this world could have that arms trait, which means if I was born into that universe, there is a chance that my arms could be weird, creepy, stretchy things, and I would have to become a fighter. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting, because apparently everybody who has this arms trait has to wear a mask, because if they don't wear masks, then their arms just like flail wildly and they can't control them. What is the lore of this game? Assuming that 20% of the population has this affliction, it would make sense that one day maybe somebody would forget to put on their mask and suddenly I'm taking a boxing glove to the head. But I mean, it seems like they would probably have something in place for this. The Arms world seems advanced enough, so assuming that I'm not going to have a horrible genetic mutation, this seems like a pretty good place to live. I mean, there are other humans in this game, and they seem to be existing just fine. There's like no conflict in this game. Maybe in Arms too. Arms gets an S tier because I think I would have to kind of go out of my way to get hurt in any way in this world. Let's shine a little bit of light on the forgotten Mario Brother and look at Luigi's Mansion 3. Now this game takes place in a haunted hotel as opposed to a haunted mansion, which I think opens up some different opportunities in terms of safety. I mean, honestly, the ghosts in this game seem kind of stupid, so like, if anything, I could just go hide in a laundry basket and they probably wouldn't even be able to find me. Even still, before everything goes down, it's like a super nice hotel, so honestly, I could just like book a room and then call ahead of time, see if there's somebody named Luigi who also is booked on that night, and, you know, I'd be safe. But let's say that I'm there while everything goes down. I would assume the ghost would also probably want to put me in a painting because I'm, like, not also a ghost. Why do the ghosts not like Luigi? Are they racist? Is it racism? Also, I feel like I could just leave, right? Like, I can just walk out of here. There's a part early in the game where Luigi, like, hits a button, and there's, like, a parking garage that just opens up, and it stays open for, like, a pretty decent amount of time, so, like, I'm just gonna crawl under that. And I understand, like, Luigi has to stay in there because Mario and Peach and everybody are trapped in there, but no offense, I don't care about them that much. Like, if one person could have a 100% survival rate, or 4 people could have, like, a 15% survival rate, I'm gonna be looking out for myself. I'm not saying that Luigi made a bad decision, I'm just saying that if I was there, I would be out the door with Polterpup, and we would be calling OSHA to get this place shut down. There are various safety violations here. I'm gonna say A tier because there is a possibility that I can catch a stray from a ghost, but honestly, if the hotel rates are cheap enough, I might be putting in S tier work to stay safe. It's tough out here. Now, if you told me that there was an entire country full of Donkey Kongs, I would not believe you. And yet, in 1994, Nintendo somehow defied all odds and dropped Donkey Kong Country. I used to play this game on my Game Boy Advance when I was little. I was absolutely horrible at it. I don't even remember anything past like the first couple levels, probably because I did not see anything past those first couple levels. The game takes place in what I can only assume is Donkey Kong Country, and it's typically portrayed as areas like jungles or things associated with jungles like ruins. Basically, every level in this game has some type of lethal thing that is trying to kill you, whether it's vines that I cannot swing on because I am not Tarzan, or just pits of snakes. Even the bees in this universe are evil. Who put spikes on a bee? Also, real quick, let's talk about these minecarts, because these do not make sense. If I was to be sitting in a minecart, and the track was just about to end, I would just fall off the edge. I could not jump. You know why? Because of basic physics. If I was in a minecart and I tried to push down to jump, I would just be pushing on the floor of the minecart and would just descend even faster. But Donkey Kong Country also has one of the greatest pieces of video game music of all time: aquatic ambiance. This is no exaggeration, one of the greatest pieces of video game music ever created, and I think it would do enough to speed up my evolution just so that I could grow gills, go underwater, and listen to that song all the time. Aquatic ambiance gets an S tier. Donkey Kong gets a C tier. Next up we have Pikmin. Now, to my understanding, Pikmin takes place on a planet called PNF 404, which is basically just Earth. Now, I've been existing on Earth for quite a while now. I don't plan to stop anytime soon, so this one seems like it's pretty much on lock. I don't think it's been, fully explicitly stated, but most people agree that the planet in Pikmin is Earth, but the humans, went extinct, and this is now, post-apocalyptic after that. It's not 100% confirmed, so I might be wrong about that, but pretty sure that's what everybody pretty much agrees on. The idea of this being a post-apocalyptic world does kind of make me a little bit nervous, but honestly, there have been pieces of media that depict people surviving in post-apocalyptic worlds, so it's not like it's impossible. Technically speaking, I am being dropped in at the time of Pikmin, so everybody has already fought their wars or done whatever it was that killed them before this point, which means I don't have to face those same type of perils that they did. Let's take a look at the first area from Pikmin 4. This is a really nice house. This does not look like a house that has been through an apocalypse. This place looks nicer than my apartment. Mind you, I have not beaten Pikmin 4 yet, so I don't know if this is some weird alternate reality thing or not, but assuming that this is within the Pikmin universe, I would just stay here. There's a fan running, which means there is at least some form of power, whether that's solar or they have electricity. There's also a TV, which means I could hook my Switch up to it and play Pikmin 4 while being in Pikmin 4. That would be crazy. Yeah, there are enemies in Pikmin, but you have to keep in mind that Olimar is 1 inch tall or something like that, so every enemy that he fights is going to be relative to his size. Assuming that I will still keep my height of 5 foot 6 feet tall, I would be completely fine. I don't see any reason why I couldn't just step on anything that comes towards me. In fairness, some of these seem weirdly mutated, so that might pose a little bit of an issue, but once again, I can just punt it like a football. I think I would be completely fine. There's food, there's water, there's no humans around. I feel like I'm basically already surviving in the Pikmin world, so easy S tier. Mario Galaxy, can't breathe in space, C tier. Metroid, I could not imagine a single situation where I would be able to survive in the Metroid universe. Even if you gave me the power suit, even if you gave me the proper training from the Galactic Federation, even if you injected me with the blood that apparently Samus is injected with, I didn't know about any of that, I still would immediately die in the Metroid universe. All the enemies in this game are completely ruthless, but especially those white robots that grab you and then just stab you through the chest. What am I supposed to do about that? Samus can't even get away from these guys, and she is a highly trained intergalactic bounty hunter. I make YouTube videos. You be the judge. But let's say that somehow I can survive these enemies. Let's say they give me the nicest new suit and just an extensive amount of training. I still would not have been able to upgrade one very important factor: my brain. Metroid games are kind of like a puzzle. You have to do things in certain orders. You have to know where to go, then backtrack, or know what to use. It's all very fun, don't get me wrong, but if I was in there, I would just be immediately stopped. When I play Metroid Dread, I have to look up weapons, which I'm pretty sure I can't do if I'm actually living there. If I'm chilling on Guitarus, how am I supposed to know that this wall that looks like exactly all the other walls needs to be shot with a rocket, because that is secretly a fake wall? I didn't even know that when I was playing the game regularly. What makes you think I'm going to know that if I'm actually in the universe? Metroid has fundamentally made me rethink the tier list, and now, at this point, I am putting it in a new D tier. We're making D tier simply for Metroid. Tamagotchi Life. I already exist in Tamagotchi Life. I own an apartment, I live with Animal Crossing villagers, I kind of like baked potatoes, and I love getting pushed on the swing. Honestly, the point of Tamagotchi Life is just surviving. I'm pretty sure there's not a way that you can die in this game, but I also don't think this is my decision to make, so let's ask my me what he thinks. Okay, I've broken it down very simply. On one side we've got live, on one side we've got die. Let's see what my me thinks.
This is definitely well, maybe not.
Paper Mario, right? As the name implies, everything in that world is made of paper, which would make you think, could I even survive as a 3D person within that space? Well, in Paper Mario the Origami King, we can see that there are 3D objects like scissors and office supplies for some reason, so that does imply that we can have 3D objects that do exist within that space. Now let's look at some of the downsides of being able to exist within this space. Now with Paper Mario being paper, it means that he exists in what I like to call cartoon rules. So with that, let's say Paper Mario gets shot with a gun, right? And there's a hole through it. You could probably just put tape over it and it would be completely fine. Whereas if I got shot with a gun, I would just die. So yes, I can exist in the world, but the question